Discovered, how a young black girl shockingly transformed from humiliation to inspirational champion. Jada Williams stood in the middle of the bustling city, her heart racing like the cars zipping past. She was a 14-year-old girl with stars in her eyes, dreaming of one day becoming a renowned artist. But reality was cruel, her dreams torn apart by the sneers and whispers of her peers. "What a loser, painting all day." They'd yell, laughter echoing through the vibrant streets of their economically struggling neighborhood. Every jab felt like a knife twisting in her chest, making her question if she was even worthy of dreaming. Her single mother, who worked tirelessly at the local diner, was her rock, showing resilience and grit that would make any American proud. But Jada watched her struggles, and guilt gnawed at her. Each night, she sketched the city around her, hoping that the art would serve as an escape, a way to breathe through the pain. When the local community announced an art project aimed at empowering youth, her heart raced with cautious hope. Could this be her chance? Maybe. At first, fear held her back. What if they laugh again? She wondered, imagining the smirks and careless taunts. But as she poured her heart into that canvas, she felt a glimmer of power. Each brushstroke became her voice, the colors her emotions. "I can do this," she whispered, the fear slowly melting away. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day of the art exhibition arrived, the air buzzing with excitement. Jada's heart soared until disaster struck. A fierce rivalry between her school and another erupted like a storm. As the chaos unfolded, a cruel prank targeted Jada, shattering her moment of glory. The laughter that rang in her ears was not the joyous kind, it was laced with mockery, leaving her humiliated and doubting herself again. Her dreams slipped further away, like sand through her fingers. In the midst of her despair, she met Mr. Thompson, a retired veteran with a twinkle of wisdom in his eyes that spoke of battles fought and won. "You've got something inside you, Jada. Don't let anyone dim your light," he said, his voice a warm anchor. He became her mentor, reminding her that her art could be both her weapon against bullies and a bridge to share her story. With newfound determination, she faced her fears, using her art to expose prejudice while uplifting those around her who felt overlooked. Time passed, and slowly, Jada's unwavering spirit blossomed. She found herself recognized in the local art scene, earning a scholarship to a prestigious art school, a shining beacon of hope that rippled through her neighborhood. But amid her victories lay an emotional reunion with her mother, where tears flowed and layers of misunderstandings peeled away. They discovered a love that had always been there, binding them through every storm. Yet, as Jada stood on the edge of her dreams, a letter arrived that sent her heart racing, a notification about her application for a summer art program that could change everything. Would this be her moment to shine? Or were the shadows of doubt looming closer? Hope surged, but fear gripped her tightly, leaving readers wondering if she would embrace her destiny or flee into the darkness again. Jada's fingers trembled as she held the letter, her heart pounding a wild rhythm. This was it. This could be the chance she'd been waiting for, the summer art program that promised mentorship from renowned artists and a platform to showcase her work. But then doubt crept in. What if she wasn't good enough? What if they didn't see the magic she felt when she painted? In the quiet of her room, the sunlight streamed through the window, casting a warm glow on the canvas propped against her easel. The image danced before her eyes, a vibrant city scene splashed with hues of hope and resilience. Yet, the self-doubt felt heavier than the paint tubes scattered around her. "Open it," she whispered to herself, as if the words might coax courage from her heart. She took a deep breath, tearing the envelope open, her fingers fumbling slightly in the process. As she read the contents, an array of emotions flooded her: excitement, fear, and a tiny breath of anger at the teasing that had plagued her in the past. They couldn't take this away from her. Not anymore. "Dear Jada, we are thrilled to inform you that you have been accepted into the Summer Young Artists program." Her heart soared. Acceptance. A genuine thrill coursed through her veins. Yet with it came a thought that prickled beneath the surface. Her peers. Would they smirk and roll their eyes when they found out? "Yeah, right. You think you're some artist now?" echoed the mocking voices from the past. She shook her head, pushing those thoughts aside. This was her time, not theirs. Later that evening, Jada sat with her mother at their small kitchen table, which was now littered with the remnants of their dinner. The air was filled with a mix of aromas: spicy chicken, sweet cornbread, and something sweeter still, the promise of new beginnings. Jada's mother looked up from her plate, eyeing the envelope still clenched in Jada's hand. "What's that you got there, sweetheart?" her mother asked, a soft smile shimmering in her tired eyes. Jada's voice trembled a bit as she replied, "I got into the summer art program, Mom. I'm going to be an artist." Her mother froze for a moment, and Jada held her breath, the anticipation thrilling. Then a wide grin broke across her mother's face, transforming the room like magic. "Oh, darling. That's amazing!" she exclaimed, jumping up to hug Jada tightly. Jada melted into her embrace, feeling the warmth radiating between them, yet as she pulled away, the weight of her mother's worries settled on her, too. "Are you sure this is what you want? Those kids at school, they can be cruel." Her mother's voice dipped, concern etching her brow. "I'm tired of being afraid, Mom. This is bigger than them," Jada replied, her resolve firm. She could feel a fire igniting within her, a fire fueled by dreams and determination. Full of purpose, she looked out the window, the dusk settling around their neighborhood, painting everything in softer tones. But that night, visions of the program swirled in her mind alongside thoughts of her peers' doubts. Could she really rise above it all? The day of reckoning was nearing, and Jada knew she'd have to face not only her classmates but also her own demons. The clock on the wall ticked relentlessly, a reminder that time was moving forward. Would she leap into this new chapter, arms wide open, or would her fears pull her back into the shadows? The questions lingered, weighty yet exhilarating, as she slid into an uneasy sleep, battling the echoes of doubt and the stirring of hope. With the dawn barely breaking, Jada awoke to a new day, the sun glistening through her window like a sign, a call to leap. But could she muster the courage? Would the looming shadows fade away in the light of her new dreams? The answer loomed just ahead as Jada embraced the day, unaware that the next step could reveal not only her destiny but also the very strength she never knew she had. What awaited her out there in the world of art and ambition? Would she finally find the acceptance she sought, or face a new wave of challenges? Jada couldn't shake the nervous energy coursing through her veins. It wrapped around her like a snug sweater but felt heavier than she had expected. As she stood in front of her mirror, she looked at her reflection, searching for a sign of confidence. Her dark curls bounced back at her, framing her face. She straightened her shoulders, trying to wear the courage she felt inside. With the letter tucked safely in her backpack, she made her way to school. The usual streets she walked felt different today, charged with possibility and fear at the same time. Every face she passed seemed a little more scrutinizing, every whisper lingering longer in the air. Would they all notice her excitement? Would they read it on her face? Entering the school felt like stepping onto a stage where every student was a spectator, ready to judge. Jada's locker was barely a few steps away when she caught sight of Tara and her friends gathered in a huddle, laughing a bit too loudly. Jada's heart sank. Look who it is. The wannabe artist. Tara's voice cut through the hallway like a blade. The laughter that erupted was sharp, filled with a familiarity that stung. Jada felt her hands clench into fists, a flicker of anger igniting inside her. With each step closer, however, she fought with the voice in her head. Don't respond. Walk away. But then Tara's voice rang out again. Jada, are you still painting those messy pictures? Bet they're as awful as ever. The brashness echoed, taunting her senses. Taking a deep breath, Jada forced herself to smile. Actually, I'm going to an art program this summer. You know, for real artists. The words spilled out before she could second-guess herself. For a moment, silence filled the air, the kind that feels heavy yet oddly empowering. Tara's smirk faltered, replaced by surprise. Maybe, just maybe, a little spark of confidence was pushing through. "Oh please," Tara scoffed, waving her hand dismissively. "We'll see how long that lasts." With that, Jada turned and headed to class, her cheeks burning but her heart fluttering with an odd sense of pride. Sure, her classmates might love to knock her down, but for the first time, she didn't feel small. The first few periods dragged on, each ticking minute teasing her anticipation for art class. Finally, when the clock struck the start of the session, she practically flew to the art room. It was her sanctuary, a place where she could create without the weight of judgment. As she entered, Ms. Rivera, the art teacher, stood there welcoming her students with a warm smile. "All right, artists. Let's channel our energy. What's inspiring you today?" Jada's heart thudded. This was the space where she could breathe and let her passions flow. Taking a seat at the front, she pulled out her sketchbook, letting the paper greet her with eager anticipation. She began to draw, eyes closed at first, the pencil flowing freely. Lines turned into shapes, colors brewing inside her mind, bold strokes that reflected the vibrant city life she adored. As Ms. Rivera wandered around, she paused at Jada's desk. "Jada, this is incredible. You have such a distinct voice." The praise brightened Jada's day, wrapping her in the warmth she craved. "I can really see your emotion in this." For the first time, it felt like someone truly understood her. This was what she had hoped for, a space where talent was recognized. But just as the joy swelled within, Tara's taunts danced back in her mind. Could she really claim this new path? As lunch approached, Jada overheard a group talking about the summer program. They seemed curious. Would they ask her about it? She felt a thrill at the possibility of sharing her story. But as she neared their table, she hesitated. Could she let them in? The question hung in the air, heavy and uncertain, drawing her thoughts into a whirlwind. Would she step forward, embracing the exposure, or retreat into her comfort zone? Drawing a deep breath, Jada took a confident step forward. However, would that confidence be enough to face whatever awaited her on the other side? Jada could feel every eye on her as she approached the lunch table. The murmurs quieted, curiosity evident in their expressions. She took another breath, feeling as if she was balancing on a tightrope, each step fraught with potential. If she could just share a bit about the program, maybe they would see her differently. "Hey," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I overheard you guys talking about the summer art program. I'm actually going to it." She bit her lip, the admission causing a flutter of hope in her chest. The table fell silent for a beat, then Tara's friend, Melissa, looked up with unexpected interest. "Really? Like, for real artists?" "Yeah, it's at that big studio downtown. It's a chance to learn from actual professionals," Jada added, pushing the words out with more authority than she felt. Her cheeks flushed, but she swallowed her nerves, reminding herself of Ms. Rivera's praise. Tara's blue eyes narrowed, and Jada braced for another cutting remark. "That sounds cute. Let's just hope they have some good teachers who can handle your style," she sneered. The others tittered, but Jada held her ground. "Actually, they've invited artists from all over." "I'm really excited to learn and grow," Jada replied, a spark of defiance lighting within her. What surprised her most, though, was how resilient she felt in that moment. No more backing down. Suddenly, a newcomer joined the group. It was Max, a classmate she didn't know well but admired from afar. He had that effortless coolness, and when he smiled, it was as if a spotlight turned toward Jada. "I think it's great, Jada. I've seen your sketches. You have talent, and I bet this program will take you even further," he said, completely disregarding the tension. Her heart soared. Did he just call her talented? Before she could thank him, Tara rolled her eyes dramatically. "Yeah, well, it's not like you can just call yourself an artist. It takes real skills, she snapped, trying to regain control of the conversation, but something shifted in the group. Max leaned in closer and shot Tara a look that said he wasn't impressed. You're wrong. It takes courage to put yourself out there, to follow your passion. Not everyone has that, he offered, and Jada felt her spirit lift even higher. The other kids glanced between Max and Tara, unsure where to place their loyalty. Slowly, one by one, they started to nod. Yeah, courage is what matters the most, Melissa finally chimed in, her tone softer after realizing. Tara's confidence seemed to waver as the tide turned. Without a snarky comeback, she crossed her arms and looked away, fuming silently in defeat. For the first time, Jada felt a rush of gratitude toward Max, her unexpected champion. After a moment of silence, Jada found her voice again, excitement bubbling over. I want to immerse myself in art and create pieces that mean something not just for the validation but to express who I am. Her confession felt grounding and powerful, rippling through the group as they absorbed her words. She was vulnerable, yet it resonated. The table seemed to open up, casual chat replacing tension. Ideas flowed. New friendships began to form. As the bell rang, signaling the end of lunch, Jada felt a new sense of belonging in that moment. She had stepped into the unknown and emerged stronger. Tara's jeers felt distant now, lost in the background. As she gathered her things, Max walked alongside her. You really are an artist, he said, his tone genuine. Maybe you could show me your work sometime. A smile spread across Jada's face. Yeah, I'd like that. Leaving the cafeteria, she felt electric. But as she headed back to class, her heart thudded with a mix of exhilaration and lingering doubts. She had taken a leap, but would it last? What if she stumbled? What if this newfound bravery evaporated the moment she faced Tara again? Those thoughts hung heavy as she entered her classroom, wondering how she would maintain this spark, and then Ms. Rivera walked in, holding a mysterious envelope. We have something exciting to discuss today, something that could change the course of your summer, she announced, and the students leaned forward, excitement buzzing in the air. What awaited them in that envelope could be the key to unlocking Jada's dreams or send everything crashing down. Jada's heart raced as she watched Ms. Rivera set the envelope down on her desk. The room buzzed with chatter, curiosity scraping against the surface of restless minds. She could feel her excitement mingling with the usual insecurity that had wrapped itself around her for years. Would this announcement really change everything? Ms. Rivera cleared her throat, commanding attention. As part of the summer art program, we've partnered with several community organizations to showcase your work. This envelope contains the details for an art exhibit where you can display your pieces, she explained, her voice smooth and reassuring. Gasps echoed around the room. This was what Jada had always dreamed of, an opportunity to share her art with others, to speak her truth through color and canvas. But underneath that thrill, shadows of doubt crept in. What if her work wasn't good enough? Did you hear that? An exhibit, whispered Melissa, her eyes wide with amazement. The murmurs around the room confirmed that everyone was as excited as she was. Max leaned closer, his excitement palpable. This is your chance, Jada. I know your pieces are going to blow everyone away. His encouragement wrapped around her like a warm blanket. Jada felt that familiar flutter, recalling the way her stomach had tightened when she stood up to the lunch table. Was this the universe pushing her forward? Or was it just a cruel trick? Ms. Rivera continued, breaking through Jada's thoughts. I'll need submissions by the end of next week. You'll each have a selected piece to present, and I expect creative ideas. Don't hold back. The class exploded with brainstorming. Jada's mind raced as she flipped through her sketches. A flurry of colors and emotions danced before her. What would she choose? It had to be perfect, yet, Tara's earlier words echoed in her head. It takes real skills. Jada cringed, unsure if she had what it took to face the world. She didn't want to be the odd one out again. The fear of judgment settled at the pit of her stomach like a stone. As lunch ended and the next class dragged on, her focus drifted. Thoughts of the exhibit swirled, excitement often stealing the moment despite the nagging worries. The bell rang and Jada packed her things, ready to head home. Her heart pounded sharply as she heard someone calling her name. "Hey, Jada." It was Melissa again, rushing towards her. "I was thinking, do you want to come over? We can work on ideas together for the exhibit. I'd love to help." A smile broke across Jada's face, a genuine one. "Really? That would be amazing." As they walked out of school, the sun cast golden rays that enveloped them in warmth. Jada felt hope swell in her chest. Maybe she could truly embrace this journey, but just as the excitement soared, she spotted Tara by the school gate. With a crew of friends surrounding her, Tara's expression was unreadable. "Look who thinks they're an artist now," Tara said, her tone dripping with mockery. "You really think anyone's going to care about something you create?" Jada's heart dropped. She wanted to brush it off, to let it melt away like ice on a hot day. But the doubt was creeping up again. Melissa squeezed Jada's arm, her voice a whisper. "Don't let her get to you. You are so much more than her words." Their support felt like a soft shield, but inside, Jada fought herself. Could she really rise above Tara's taunts? As they walked away, Jada's mind whirled with possibilities and pitfalls. Would she summon the courage to express herself, regardless of the doubts? And deep in her heart, she knew this was just the beginning. The mysterious envelope had opened a door. But would Jada have the strength to step through and make her mark before the deadline? As those thoughts tumbled around, she glanced back at Tara. All she could think was that she was going to prove everyone wrong. But would that be enough to silence her own insecurities? Jada's thoughts tumbled like leaves in the wind as she stepped out of school. It felt surreal. A chance to shine. Yet Tara's words lingered, twisting like a vine around her confidence. "You think anyone's going to care?" The taunt echoed powerfully, unwelcome but familiar. Melissa, sensing Jada's struggle, popped her head into Jada's thoughts. "Let South go to my place, okay? We can start picking what you want to show. I just know people will love your work." Her enthusiasm melted some of Jada's anxiety. As they walked, the sun dipped lower in the sky, splashing the world in hues of gold and orange. Jada inhaled deeply, savoring the warmth of the moment despite the gnawing doubts. She had to focus, to sift through her sketches. When they reached Melissa's house, everything shifted. The cozy atmosphere, filled with the faint smell of cookies baking in the oven, felt comforting. They settled at the kitchen table, the surface scattered with sketches and colored pencils. "Okay, show me what you've got." Melissa beamed, leaning in excitedly. Jada hesitated, her fingers trembling as she turned a paper towards Melissa. It featured a vibrant, swirling galaxy, a depiction of her dreams. It's about chasing what's out there, no matter the odds," Jada explained, her cheeks flushing with both pride and fear. "Wow, Jada. This is incredible." Melissa's reaction was a burst of sunshine. "It's so full of life. You have to bring this to the exhibit." But doubt returned, casting shadows again. What if it's not enough? What if Ms. Rivera thinks it's childish? The word sparked a flicker of frustration in Melissa. "Stop. You're so talented. You can't let one person's negativity define your worth. This is your voice, your art needs to be seen." Jada searched Melissa's eyes, hoping to believe it. She wanted to respond, to argue against her own feelings, but Tara's skepticism thumped steadily in her heart. Instead, she picked up another sketch, one that was more personal, fingers dancing on the paper, shading in the likeness of her younger self holding a paintbrush, wearing a fierce expression. "Look, this one represents how far I've come, but what if I don't go any further?" Melissa paused. Every artist feels like that at some point. You just have to take the leap. With each word, Jada felt the tension slowly easing. She found herself drawn to the vivid colors of her artwork, the emotions rushing back like a tidal wave. Perhaps she could share her journey. After what felt like hours, Jada finally agreed, okay. I'll work on this one too. But as excitement began to surface, her phone buzzed with a message notification. It was from Max, quickly straightening her little spark of joy. Hey. Are you two free tomorrow? I want to help out with the exhibit ideas. Jada grinned. Count me in. Their support felt like starlight breaking through clouds, illuminating her uncertainties. Later that night, tucked in her bed, Jada stared at the envelope still resting on her desk. She wondered how many other students were feeling the same pressure. What stories were they carrying? The thought stirred something deep within her. She closed her eyes, imagining her art up on walls, crowd lighting illuminating her truth, her voice. Maybe one painting could inspire someone else, someone doubting their place in the world. With newfound determination, she whispered into the quiet night, I can do this. But uncertainty still lingered like mist, wrapping around her bruised confidence. What if the fear loomed too close on the day of the exhibit? Jada's hand brushed against the envelope again. It seemed alive, waiting for her next move. Could she muster the courage to unveil her art to everyone? Or was she still that girl barely scraping by? As hope and fear battled it out, Jada knew what she needed: the final piece of courage to conquer the exhibit and the world outside. Would tomorrow bring the boost she needed, or would the dawning day be another round of self-doubt? Jada woke to sunlight spilling through her curtains, vibrant and relentless. It felt like the universe was nudging her, reminding her that today wasn't just any day, it was the day she'd share her art. Her heart raced with excitement, but that familiar thread of fear wove through her thoughts. Pushing past her blankets, she sat up, rubbing sleep from her eyes. What if I falter? She whispered to herself, suddenly feeling the weight of all the expectations, both her own and those from others. She padded to the window, pulling it open. A gentle breeze swept in, carrying the scent of blooming flowers. It was beautiful, and for a moment, she wished she could capture the moment on paper. Focus, Jada. You can do this, she whispered again, summoning the resolve that had flickered to life the night before. After a quick breakfast, she grabbed her sketches, folding each one delicately and slipping them into the envelope. Each brush of paper against her fingers sent little jolts of hope running through her. She was on her way to Melissa's to meet Max, who promised to help brainstorm ideas for the exhibit. When she arrived, the energy was electric. Max was already there, flinging colorful sticky notes around the kitchen, igniting the space with his enthusiasm. Hey, creative genius. Ready to make some magic? He grinned, spreading his arms wide. Jada couldn't help but smile back, her nerves inching away. You're already on fire. She replied, laughter bubbling in her chest. They gathered at the table, the sun streaming in, lending warmth to their discussions. Jada carefully laid out her sketches, trying to gauge their reactions. Max was the first to lean forward, eyes bright. This piece. It's stunning. How about you tell the story behind it? People love personal connections. Melissa nodded in agreement. Yes. Your journey, your struggles. That's authentic. That's what people connect to. Jada's heart swelled. The excitement brewing inside her felt like paint on a canvas, vibrant and ready to flow. As they brainstormed, her ideas started to take shape. The exhibit could be more than just art, it could be a narrative, a reflection of her growth and resilience. Maybe I could include a little blurb next to each piece. Jada suggested, her voice growing stronger. A personal note on what inspired each work. That's a brilliant move. Max's eyes sparkled. It'll make it so much more relatable. But self-doubt loomed in the back of Jada's mind, creeping into the corners of her thoughts. But what if my story doesn't resonate? What if people think it's too personal? Hey, if they don't get it, that's their loss. Melissa interjected, her fierce determination crackling through the air. You're sharing your truth. That's beautiful. Jada glanced down at her sketches, feeling the warmth of their support. It pushed her forward, even as the shadows of doubt whispered in her ear. "Okay, I'll write the blurbs. I think I can do that." As she whipped out her notebook to jot down her thoughts, a sudden realization settled in her chest. Sharing her art not only opened a door for her, it allowed a space for others to find their own voices. She could be their reminder that dreams were within reach, that vulnerability was strength. Just then, as they were prepping the new ideas, Jada's phone buzzed. It was a text from Tara. "Hope you can handle the spotlight. Don't mess it up." The sting of her words hit Jada hard, but instead of shrinking, she felt an unexpected surge of determination. She turned to her friends, her voice steady. "I'm not going to mess this up. I'll show them. I'll show Tara too." An encouraging grin spread across Max's face. "That's the spirit. Time to rise." As they refocused on their creative plans, Jada's heart soared. She wasn't just painting her own story anymore, she was ready to paint the way for others as well. What Jada didn't expect, though, was how the day of the exhibit would test her resolve even further. Would she be able to truly embrace everything she had fought for? Would there be more than just Tara's judgment lurking in the crowd? With a final glance at her sketches laid out on the table, Jada felt that familiar pulse of excitement mingle with anticipation. The time was coming. Would she rise, or would doubt drag her down? The day of the exhibit finally arrived, and Jada could barely breathe as she stood before the mirror, adjusting her clothes one last time. The dress hung off her shoulders, a deep shade of blue that contrasted beautifully with the warm undertones of her skin. She felt ready but terrified, excitement swirling in her stomach like a storm. "Let us go." Max's cheerful shout from downstairs broke through her anxious haze. His enthusiasm had a way of pulling her out of her self-doubt, but today, she wasn't sure it would be enough. She grabbed her sketches, suddenly feeling their weight as if they were imbued with her very essence. Each piece told a part of her story, a snapshot of her journey, but what if no one cared? The thoughts came rushing back, a cacophony of strong emotions vying for her attention. As they headed out, Melissa's warm hand found Jada's. "We got this, remember? This is your moment." "I'm trying to focus on the positive, it's just what if nobody gets it?" The words tumbled out, thinly veiling the panic rising within her. "Then we'll make them understand." Max chimed in, determination lighting up his face. "Art isn't just about the pieces, it's about the conversations they create." They arrived at the venue, a cozy gallery adorned with soft lighting and the alluring scent of fresh paint mingling in the air. The moment Jada stepped inside, a wave of warmth washed over her. People mingled, laughter bubbling up around her, but she felt a lingering tension in her chest. Setting up her artwork, she tried to embrace the moment, breathing deeply. Each piece found its place, a puzzle coming together. Yet, as more faces filled the space, her heart raced. What if their smiles hid judgment beneath? As she took a step back to admire her work, her pulse quickened anew when she spotted Tara across the room with her circle of friends. Instantly, Jada felt that familiar sting of insecurity. Tara had always seemed to shine brighter, and in moments like this, Jada struggled with her perception of self-worth. "Don't think about her," Melissa whispered, sensing Jada's shift in energy. "Focus on your art." But Tara's laughter cut through the gallery like a knife, stealing her focus. "I hope it's not just scribbles," she teased loudly. The comment spiraled around Jada's mind, shadowing her determination. Just as she thought about stepping away, a woman approached, eyes bright, a smile dancing on her lips. "Your work, it's breathtaking," she exclaimed, glancing thoughtfully at the pieces. "There's such depth here." Jada's heart soared at the compliment. Encouraged, she found her voice. "Thank you. Each piece is inspired by personal experiences, about overcoming challenges and finding strength in vulnerability." The woman nodded, her eyes glimmering with understanding. "That's exactly what art should do, connect us. With every passing moment, the crowd began to gather around Jada's work, engaging her in conversation. She felt the armor of self-doubt slowly melting away. Jada had given them a piece of her soul, and they were responding. The tension in her chest shifted to an exhilarating rush as she animatedly spoke about her art. Tara's presence faded into the background, her derision nothing but a distant echo. As the night wore on, the energy pulsed through her veins. Encouraging remarks filled the space, and for the first time, Jada felt seen. She glanced at Melissa and Max, their pride shining as bright as the gallery lights. But just as she soaked in this exhilarating moment, her eyes found Tara again. The look in her eyes was not just disinterest, it held something colder. Would she celebrate Jada's success, or would she find a way to drag it down? Just when the room felt electric with possibilities, a tiny voice in Jada's head challenged her triumph. Did this night define her completely, or would Tara's judgment still linger in her heart? One question buzzed in the air like a lingering note of a song: would she fully embrace this recognition, or allow fear to creep back in, clouding her moment of joy? Jada felt a pulse of excitement run through her as the crowd grew, but as she turned back to her art, that familiar pit of anxiety began to widen in her stomach. The voices and laughter formed a blur of happy chaos around her, yet she couldn't shake the icy grip that Tara's gaze had unwittingly cast upon her. "Did you hear what she said?" One of Tara's friends scoffed, loud enough for Jada to catch snippets of their conversation. "Scribbles, seriously? What even is this?" Jada fought the urge to shrink back, to hide behind the vibrant canvas that proclaimed her story. But she reminded herself of the encouraging words she'd just received, the genuine admiration from that woman who had understood her vision. "Just keep talking," Melissa urged, her voice low but filled with unwavering support. "Don't let her ruin this." "Right, I can do this," Jada whispered to herself, finding her footing once again among her pieces. As she gestured towards a striking piece filled with vibrant colors, her voice steadied. "This one represents a struggle I faced after losing my grandma. It's an explosion of emotions, a reminder of how to honor her spirit." The crowd leaned in closer, some nodding as if they could feel her words resonating with their own experiences. She caught a glimpse of a few faces softening with empathy. No one was judging her here, they were connecting with her. Then, almost completely lost in her thoughts, she caught sight of Tara again. This time, disappointment washed over her, followed swiftly by anger. Was Tara actually smirking? It was as if she derived pleasure from Jada's momentous night. A surge of heat rushed through her cheeks, igniting a fire within. "Excuse me," Jada interrupted her own thoughts, injecting a newfound confidence into her voice. "Art is subjective. What one person sees as scribbles, another sees as a lifeline." To her surprise, the words felt as good as a heavy weight being lifted off her shoulders. "The beauty of art is how it speaks to us individually." The group around her erupted in applause, and for a heartbeat, the room felt like a dream. Jada's heart skipped as she basked in validation, a far-off look connected to deep-seated insecurities evaporating for the moment. But just as quickly, Tara's laughter pierced the moment again, and her words sliced through the air. "Honestly, Jada, you think you're an artist now? Just because a few folks are clapping for you?" It felt like old wounds being opened anew, echoing insecurities that Jada thought she had left behind. Caught off guard, Jada's breath hitched. Had she invited the shadows of the past back into her life? Before she realized it, everything around her went quiet. "It's not about the applause," Jada found herself saying, words flowing with sincerity she hadn't anticipated. "It's about sharing pieces of ourselves, our journeys. We're all fighting our battles, art just enables us to communicate it without fear." And then, like sparks flying in the dark, the crowd erupted into support once more, this time louder, more fervent. Faces lit with admiration, voices joined in chants of encouragement. Jada had flipped the narrative. As she soaked in the moment, she spotted the woman who had first complimented her drawing closer to her. "You really have an important voice," she said, her eyes glinting. "It's rare to find someone who can express vulnerability through art. You're something special." Jada felt a warmth expand in her chest, hope intertwining with newfound belief. But just as she let herself revel in this progression, she spotted Tara again. This time, it wasn't the disdain that had colored her first glance. Instead, there was a glimmer of resentment mixed with something else, maybe curiosity or unexpected envy. Jada's heart sank as she realized, despite the triumph of the night, she couldn't escape the shadows that Tara cast. What would the next moment hold? Would she continue to turn toward the light, or would she find herself threatened by the darkness again? One harsh truth echoed in her mind: as long as Tara remained, her journey wasn't finished yet. Would Jada be able to stand strong against the doubts that still lingered, or would they overshadow this night of newfound joy? Jada stood in the gallery, surrounded by the buzz of admiration, yet her gaze kept darting back to Tara. That familiar churning in her stomach began to surface, but this time, she was ready. The fragility of vulnerability that had weighed on her before was starting to solidify into strength. Max nudged her gently. "Hey, look at you. You're owning this." His smile was infectious, and for the first time, she felt a genuine wave of gratitude for the friendships she'd forged. "Thanks, Max. It feels unreal." Jada's heart swelled. She could hear their words of encouragement echoing, resonating deep within her. As the exhibition progressed, Tara's sneers faded into the background while supportive words enveloped her. "Can I take a picture?" asked a young girl standing in front of one of Jada's pieces, her enthusiasm infectious. A smile broke over Jada's face. "Sure. This one is called A Journey in Colors," she explained, kneeling to meet the girl's eye level. "It's about how embracing every color of our experience brings us closer to understanding ourselves." The girl's eyes sparkled, her innocence igniting warmth in Jada's heart. As she posed for the picture holding the art, she admired how her work had captivated this young audience. In that moment, Jada felt like a true artist, one who could weave tales through colors and shapes. "Wow, this is beautiful!" someone called out from the crowd, sending a ripple of excitement through her. Jada turned, looking up to see a group of students she had never really connected with. They nodded toward her, genuine smiles on their faces. Another voice chimed in. "You've really grown, Jada. I can feel your story in every brushstroke." Jada's heart raced as more people gathered around, listening intently to her weave the tales behind her creations. Tara's presence faded like a ghost, and warmth filled her from head to toe. "I wanted to make art that speaks, unafraid to show both struggle and joy." Just then, a hand clapped on her shoulder. It was Mr. Thompson, grinning proudly. "You've done it, Jada. I knew you had the fire in you. I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Thompson. You were my anchor." Her voice quaked with emotion as she basked in the acceptance of her peers, old and new. "Don't forget," he replied with a wink. "Art is as much about the artist as it is about the audience. You've done both proud." Suddenly, Tara approached, but this time, there was a hint of hesitance in her step. I didn't think you had it in you," she began, her voice edged with uncertainty. Jada took a breath, steadying her resolve. "Art is for everyone, Tara. I hope you'll find a way to express whatever you're feeling too," she replied, her heart pounding but her spirit free. Tara's eyes narrowed for a heartbeat before softening. "Maybe I could give it a try." As evening descended, Jada stepped back from her exhibit. Behind her, she could hear smiles, laughter, and conversations blooming like blossoms in spring. There was a bond growing among the attendees, a community forming in the space Jada had created. In that moment, she understood that her battle had not just been about overcoming words of doubt from others but also about finding her own voice amidst them. It had transformed her not only as an artist but as a young woman. When she glanced up at the gallery wall filled with vibrant colors of her work, her own heart swelled with joy. Yes, she still felt the pangs of insecurity, but now they were distant, pushed aside by the warmth of support surrounding her. Her mother finally joined her, tears brimming in her eyes. "You did it, Jada. This is beautiful. You've taken your light and shown the world." "Thanks, Mom. I couldn't have done it without you believing in me. Jada wrapped her arms around her mother, feeling the strength of their bond. Jada smiled big, brighter than any spotlight ever could. She had done it. Not only had she conquered the criticism, but she had learned that art wasn't about simply proving herself. It was about connecting, healing, and uplifting one another. As the evening drew to a close, Jada stood a little taller, her fears diminished, replaced by hope and joy. With a final glance at her art, she thought about what was to come. The world was waiting, filled with more brushes, colors, and stories to share. The exhibition may have ended, but her journey had only just begun. It was time to paint the life of her dreams. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who absolutely need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.